Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. Today we are on the map Kairos Junction. It is AlphaStar Day, so in the top left-hand side of the map we've got none other than Alpha Z. Gonna be taking on another Z, the Masters Z, in what I believe is replay number 72 that we have left in these AlphaStar videos, so it's getting close, not too many now, and then we'll get into the final iteration of AlphaStars, those games that are left over. And yeah, I'm just excited to see AlphaStar take on this Masters player. What build are they going to choose? I personally love it when the human goes for something crazy, as always. Test the AI, see how it reacts to things, as the AI, in theory, was really exposed to most builds. Most cheeses, things like that in the early stages of development, and then of course they became less and less popular, but of course the AI retained how to defend those builds, so the AI does know how to defend most cheeses. But I want to know if there's really some wacky things that you could come up that would consistently beat the AI, as that's how it works. So yeah, let's take a look here. We have got a hatchery on the way for the Masters player and for AlphaStar, so mirror builds, which is good to see. Means that the game's gonna take a second or so to heat on up, and ladies and gentlemen, since we have got, let's see, there is 6 spikes on, okay, hold on, if we start counting the spikes in the Zerg base, we're gonna be here a while, so let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I think that's about 15 spikes or so, give or take a dozen or so. So yeah, let's try and hit 15 likes on this video. If we could do that, it would be absolutely amazing. You guys blowing it out of the park as always. And make sure to subscribe if you aren't, because we're getting closer every day towards hitting that 10,000 subscriber mark. That's the goal on the channel. I think that might even line up, depending on how it goes. It might line up with the end of the AlphaStar series, and that would be something. Now, let's see, metabolic boost on the way for the Masters player. AlphaStar started it momentarily, but then canceled it, which makes me think it's going to go for the lair quicker than usual. So forgoing the speed, but still mining a bit of gas is quite interesting from the AI that's playing Zerg. And it really makes me wonder, what is AlphaStar cooking up in this regard? There's still 2 queens building, and there we go, Roach Warren's on the way. So very, very early Roach Warren from AlphaStar this game. All the while, the Masters player throws up a third base as Gotling speed, but still hasn't scouted this out at all, and that makes me a little bit concerned. I mean, AlphaStar has completely forgone getting up any lings, and it's just going hard into the roaches. It's cleaning out the overlords, kills that one off, pops it like a balloon, and all of a sudden the Masters player doesn't really have much of an idea of what's going to be coming his way as he fires up 9 drones. Is this just going to be a very early dirty cheese from AlphaStar? I know the AI does roach timings, but this is like a very, very early roach timing. However, as we do see AlphaStar throw up that lair, it means that it's not going to be all-inning right away, just going for the very, very safety Roach Warren, just skipping lings altogether. Definitely makes you think that AlphaStar is probably vulnerable with this opening for a time. I mean, 3.5 minutes before you have really any units out is quite a risk in ZVZ, but now we see AlphaStar starting to make roaches, still making some drones, getting up an Evo chamber, getting up a lair. And the game will go from there. However, the Masters player gonna see these roaches and maybe panic a little bit. Not having your own roaches to deal with your opponent's roaches, yeah, it makes you quite worried. And so we do see that Roach Horn get thrown up right away. There's a bit of a wall, which is nice for the Masters player. I mean, for that defensive stage, but AlphaStar really streamlining this game into going for the roach versus roach phase. It's pretty much, if your opponent has roaches and you don't, you need to make your own roaches, as otherwise you will just die. Now, the Masters player, of course, this game has got up the 3rd hatchery, whereas AlphaStar doesn't, so his economy can be a little bit better. He'll have better larva production, and so potentially, if the game does sort of turn into a macro stage, or if the Masters player does get ready to defend this attack, then he will be able to, we'll have a lead, as a matter of fact. We do still need to see, though, roaches start making for the Masters player, I think, as AlphaStar is slowly churning out a rather healthy number. I mean, that roach count's just going up and up and up, with 5 more on the way. And I think it's just a matter of time before AlphaStar pushes out and tries to kill the Masters player. So taking a look, we see, yeah, 10 roaches on the way for AlphaStar. That number is just going to go up and up. Lings do catch a queen, but a lot of the Lings die in the process. And while there's roaches making for the Masters player, I don't know if he's going to be able to make enough with that defender's advantage. Like, he literally needs to be just laying on that roach key now, have the defender's advantage, overcome that. But it's still not going to be comfortable at all for the Masters player, seeing as how he's without that roach speed, which definitely makes a difference in the fights, even if it's not an actual, like, HP or attack statistic. And so the Masters player getting a little bit worried, throws up a spine crawler at his third base. I like this, since this could very well be a venue for attack. Queens are starting to move across the map for AlphaStar too, so really everyone's coming. It's a party and everyone's invited. The Masters player actually supply blocked at a very, very terrible time. 90 supply cap, not able to make any more roaches until these overlords are done. And all of a sudden, AlphaStar is going to come on in. The Masters player is actually just electing to abandon ship, which I think is not the worst call in the world. He's got to be making more and more of these roaches. He needs to be just going hard on it, as Queens are banking a little bit of energy, so those injects weren't on perfect time. And the third base is actually just going to die. The Masters player, though, would have died if he tried to hold it here. He very well may still die, but at least he delayed his death a little bit. He can always re-expand towards the left side when he gets a chance. And yeah, I think if you do max out, you've got the best chance against AlphaStar. So as long as the Masters player just sits back, macros up, re-establishes his third base, I think he'll be in a fine spot to play this game out, as both players are getting up similar upgrades. Roach speed is now on the way for the Masters player. They're on very similar drone counts, and we do see that third base on the way, so things are going to stabilize, it would appear. And yeah, not too much happened this game. AlphaStar did go for the big scary attack, but the Masters player basically just said, nope, I'm not going to fight you. And AlphaStar says, but I'm attacking, you have to fight me. To which the Masters player said, no, I don't. To basically a Pirates of the Caribbean meme right there. I have been subscribed to, I think it's Pirates of the Caribbean memes on Reddit, and I just gotta say, oh, those are some funny memes. And now, yeah, let's take a look. We see an Overseer flying above AlphaStar, basically just saying, hey, how's it going? Look at you guys. Doing roach stuff. Spitting out corrosive bile. You giant walking pumpkins. That's how I always see Ravagers. Now we see the Masters player moved out for an attack, but he probably wants to nope on out of there. He is getting up Tunneling Claws, which is a very cool choice of build. As I'm not sure how AlphaStar will deal with this, as the AI has never dealt with Tunneling Claws to my knowledge, but might not have to. If AlphaStar just goes in for this big attack supply, 124 to 84, I think the Masters player is just going to have to sack his third base once more, and AlphaStar is getting up a fourth on top of its fifth base. And the Masters player, oh, he's not quite in position ready to defend this. He's got Ravagers that are getting caught a little bit morphing. Now they can toss out Corrosive Bile, but the Ravagers are right on the front. That's not ideal. Can the Masters player push back AlphaStar? I'd love to see the Tunneling Claws get used if the game goes on long enough, but I think AlphaStar is going to crush our dreams as usual, and the AI is going to take the game. The Masters player, he dragged it out a little bit, but AlphaStar, with its wicked timing attacks, wins yet another game. All right, here we are into game number 2. It is on the map New Repugnancy, so moving away from Kairos Junction to New Repugnancy, which is an interesting map name. But anyway, a new challenger approaches, and it is a Masters Protoss. Gonna be taking on Alpha Terran, Alpha Banshee Maker Bot, whatever you want to call it. As, yeah, AlphaStar. Looking just so good. I think it is interesting how the AlphaStar project did end. I feel like in the future we probably will get more StarCraft 2 AI at some point that plays at a very high level. Who knows, maybe it'll be StarCraft 3 with a crazy built-in AI, something like that. As it's definitely doable now, if you think about it. For games that come out in the future, it's been shown that AI can be incredibly complex, like AlphaStar. It's definitely still AI, but as it starts I think it was attacking its own barracks for a little bit. Dealing with this probe. This probe actually being a total pest. Actually kills off AlphaStar's SCV while I'm talking about how complex and just basically bragging about the AI. But in the end, it's just AlphaStar actually losing an SCV there. A little bit unfortunate. I think that was an honest-to-God misclick. Let's see, how much HP does the barracks have? Yeah, it attacked the barracks 4 times with its drill. That ain't good, AlphaStar. Losing a probe, not the best start. So the Masters player killing an SCV knows that's incredibly tilting for the Terran, gonna be puffing up his chest. Then, alright, stupid Terrans. Can't even keep your worker alive in the early game. But AlphaStar fortunately doesn't get tilted, unlike actual Terran players. So the AI will continue on its merry way. AlphaStar dropping a mule, making more SCVs. Gonna be throwing up that supply depot. Interestingly enough, AlphaStar going for the supply depot before it gets up its factory or whatever. It did lose an SCV, so technically it doesn't need that supply depot as quick as possible. That's a little thing that does happen. If you do happen to lose a worker early on in a match of Starcraft, that it sometimes can affect those timings a little bit if you want. And now let's take a look. Marines on the way for AlphaStar. Gonna be popping on out. Gonna be able to try and deal with this probe. Does the Masters player react with the probe? Yes, he does. So good control so far from the Masters player. However, he's chrono boosting out his Adept, and good control could come to an end here as the Reaper's gonna get to work on these probes. So far, 1 probe has been killed. Looks like a second could be victim. Yes, it is indeed. And so the damage has already been repaid by AlphaStar for losing its 1 worker. And this is one of the things that makes playing Protoss oh so hard, in my opinion. I've played a lot of Protoss, but I'll definitely still lose probes to a first Reaper. Now, we take a look. Injured probe at the natural. AlphaStar's Reaper's potentially just going to jump on in. Oh man, are we actually going to see a great opening or a great start for the Masters player just get completely turned around? Looks like that will be the case as another probe goes down. And now the Reaper just gonna jump up, run this Masters player in circles. The Reaper gonna try and kill another one. Oh my gosh, does it get another probe? Oh, it's gonna get up to 4 probe kills, isn't it? Maybe not, maybe not. So far, good reaction from the Masters player, keeping these injured probes alive. But still, such a frustrating thing to have to deal with. His build definitely getting messed up a little bit, his economy getting messed up. Really making the life of the Masters player hard is AlphaStar. The Reaper now going to come towards that natural. Going to run into the Adept there. So that's actually good for the Masters player, shutting that down. But, oh man, the Reaper now getting into the main base again. There is injured probes. Does AlphaStar target down the injured probe? Looks like the answer to that is a no. Not right away. The Masters player is going to try and send AlphaStar on its way. But, oh, not before it gets another worker. The Reaper will finally be killed off. But 4 probes died to that Reaper. We also see the Dark Shrine was indeed spotted. So the cat's out of the bag. AlphaStar, assuming it reacts to this appropriately as it immediately throws up an eBay, or not immediately, but rather quickly throws up an eBay, then yeah, the AI should be fine to deal with this Dark Shrine stuff. But there is considerations to be made about how AlphaStar plays, how it handles DTs. It's derped with detection in the past. The AI generally is pretty good about not getting caught out by something simple like that. But then there's the question, does AlphaStar, does it basically plan, and I'm willing to bet that it doesn't, does the AI plan for when a Terran just rallies out 1 DT after another and it doesn't have scans or things like that? Say AlphaStar goes for an attack and you warp in a DT, and then 10 seconds later after the scans expired, another DT, and then another one. Eventually the AI is going to run out of scans and be like, what do I do? 9 seconds for a scan, by the way, not 10, pardon me. We take a look here. There's an observer being chrono boost, or just popping on out for the Masters player, which is important, seeing as how AlphaStar Banshees are going to be on the way next. But with DTs warping across the map, that means there's going to be nothing back at home to stop this Banshee. It's going to be a race of the cloaked units trying to deal damage. AlphaStar has a turret at its natural, but not actually one in its main base, which is very, very significant. DT's being unloaded. The warp prism does get locked onto. There's a scan. One of the DTs gets saved. Does it get unloaded to stay alive? No, it doesn't. Oh my god, disaster strikes for the Masters player. And what could have potentially been an eye for an eye blow is now looking like it might just be a player losing an eye, as this Banshee's going to be moving on in. It's got cloak, There's an observer out, but there's virtually no stalkers, and we just saw 4 zealots get warped in. That's not going to help you deal with a Banshee, buddy. In goes the Banshee towards the natural, and the Masters player is going to be having a world of hurt. No shield battery at either of the bases. There are zealots, but they don't help. There's an observer out, but it is not on the right side of town, and it's not been recalled either. So this Banshee, which has got a very hefty amount of energy, is just going to reign free. And while I liked the Masters player's choice to go for DTs, that just wasn't it. And AlphaStar going to be going for another bop, another 2-0 in these videos. And gosh, I wish I just had a chance to play this AI. I'd play it so much. Who knows if I'd ever ladder again if I could play against AlphaStar. I'd probably just play the AI, find out exactly how it ticked, all of its quirks and things like that. Which you definitely could do if you just played against the same agent every time. And now we take a look. Looks like the Stalkers do deal with this Banshee, however the Masters player down to 37 probes. While AlphaStar is just macroing up like a boss as usual, making a ton of tanks, making some Marines. Third CC on the way, another Banshee being rallied out. One's already in the main base. Shield battery is now getting thrown up a little bit too late. A little bit too late. And yeah, the Masters player, oh my gosh. Banshee coming towards the third where a good chunk of the probes are now. And he's just going to have to try and get in to deal with this Banshee, but he never even started Blink, so he can't just get on top of that Banshee easily. His Stalkers are running around. They will get on top of this Banshee. They very well may kill it. It looks like the answer to that is, oh no, he microed back and didn't actually kill the Banshee. Oh, AlphaStar. What a menace. What a villain. Currently up 61 workers to 35. And the Masters player is having a real bad time. In comes a Banshee towards the main base. At least there's a shield battery to help out. AlphaStar actually does just one-shot that injured probe already from earlier, though. So the probe actually is gonna die, and one Banshee can actually kill off a probe. It's not unlike an Oracle, which generally has to run the battery out of energy. A Banshee that targets a probe takes, like, I'm not sure how many shots exactly when it's being healed by a shield battery, but if you take a look, the Banshee actually does, I think it's 24 damage a shot, so the probe actually loses 4 HP a shot, so 5 shots underneath a shield battery to kill a Banshee. So it takes a lot longer, but it doesn't take unlimited shots. Now we take a look. There is a double forge on the way for the Masters player. Double forge at 40 workers against AlphaStar, which is getting hyperflight rotors like a boss. Getting 1-1 on the way. The third base has landed. Bio production is starting to kick in. There's the ungodly amount of siege tanks. And yeah, this is not going to be an easy spot for the Masters player to come back, particularly as a Banshee flies into the main base. The shield battery's already out of energy. So the Masters player is just going to go all in. He's got a bunch of Stalkers that don't have Blink. He's going to run right into the army of AlphaStar. And oh, this is going to be real bad, bud, as all the Stalkers are going to die. Everything's going to die. The Masters player's hopes in this game are going to die. And GG, AlphaStar takes another match. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this one, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. If you can also consider becoming a member, that's the best way to support the channel. We're currently aiming for 20 members, and I think we're at 17. There's some people getting those perks and whatnot. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. This has been LaughNgamez, and I hope you have a wonderful day.